What's up guys, it's Hailey. Welcome back to this channel. I'm going to be doing today's video solo. I'm going to be recapping my first trimester. So I'm currently 18 weeks pregnant, which is insane. 4.5 months done. And since I've been pregnant, I've really been enjoying watching these videos. It's interesting to see how pregnancy is affecting other women, what they're going through, to see how it kind of compares and differs for you. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. Obviously, every woman is different. Every woman will experience different symptoms to different degrees. This is just what I've been going through. So we found out I was pregnant at 5 weeks. So if you do want to see how we found out, initial reactions, things like that, we just filmed a video on it, like just now. So it'll be up before you see this one, so if you haven't seen it yet, I'll put a card at the top here that you can click on. Our baby does have a genetic condition called Turner syndrome, so we addressed that. We are having a girl. Yeah, if you want to learn more about that, watch that video. So like I said, we found out I was pregnant at 5 weeks, which did cause the first trimester to absolutely fly by. It was already over a month into the pregnancy before I even found out I was pregnant. So I'm going to kind of show you what I've been experiencing physically. So the very first thing that started changing physically, which is actually what caused Corey to push me to even take a pregnancy test, was my chest got so sore. And I'm someone whose boobs always get really sore around my period, but they were getting sore and I wasn't having a period, so that's actually what caused us to take the test and find out I was pregnant. So they were really sore and kept getting more sore for weeks and weeks. They're still really sore now. They have gotten bigger. I've always had a bigger chest, but I can't even wear bras now. If I do, you can see through my shirt where they're digging in. So chest has gotten significantly bigger. And I think because of that and just all my hormones and stuff, they were so sore. I mean, I couldn't give Corey a hug. It hurt. If even the slightest thing bumped it, it was awful physically. And they didn't start getting less sore until about week 14, which is technically into the second trimester. So for my entire first trimester, my chest was very sore. So yeah, that was the first pregnancy related symptom that I experienced. Second was fatigue. I'm definitely a stay up late, wake up late type of gal, always have been. But I would say beginning week 5 and lasting to about week 8, I was in bed ready to sleep by 9 o'clock every night, and then could very easily, without a doubt, sleep for the entire next day. I'd sleep probably 12 hours at night and then still take a nap during the day. I was always just so tired, and that hasn't changed. I'm definitely still just always feel very exhausted, very fatigued, but because of the next symptom that I experienced, I stopped going to bed as early, and that symptom was morning sickness. So I remember we found out I was pregnant. At that point, was just sleepy and had sore boobs. And the doctor asked me if I had been experiencing any morning sickness. I said no. And I remember Corey and I talking about it and being very fortunate that I hadn't, you know, thinking that's one thing I was going to be able to skip out on. And at about week 6 is when it started. I know a lot of women actually like fully vomit. I didn't really do that. I mean, I only actually fully threw up a handful of times. Mine was mostly just, you know when you have like heartburn or indigestion or acid reflux, it kind of like comes up the back of your throat. That's what I was doing, but it was throw up. And I did that all day long for weeks. And I'm still doing it, just certainly not to the degree that I was. So it made it really hard to go to sleep at night because I couldn't lay down, because as soon as I was horizontal, it was just coming up the back of my throat. So I had to sleep sitting up, which I don't like. I was super uncomfortable, just always felt so nauseous. And that kind of derailed all the plans that we had for my pregnancy. So I would say just in general, we're pretty health conscious people. We like eating good food, taking care of our bodies, and especially once I got pregnant, one of our top priorities was my diet and exercise. We really wanted me to just be as healthy as possible, not only for the baby, but it also makes it a lot easier to recover from pregnancy. But being sick 24 hours a day makes it really hard to exercise. And the foods that not only I wanted to eat, but that I could eat weren't necessarily the healthiest. I was literally just eating anything I could get down. I basically just wanted like really like simple dry foods. Like I ate a lot of chips and cereal. I went through an entire big bag of trail mix. And yeah, I basically just ate what I could and did not exercise at all. We went on walks every now and then, and that's basically it. I want to talk a bit more about that later in the video, but yeah. The morning sickness was really bad. It started at about 6 weeks and didn't let up until about week 14. So just into my second trimester, which from research I've done online is when it starts to ease up for a lot of women. So the ways that I kind of combated my morning routine is as soon as I would wake up in the morning, before my feet even hit the ground, I kept a packet of saltine crackers by the bed and I would just eat 2 of them. And I kid you not, most mornings I was literally having to choke them down because it was so hard to eat. But that helped so much. And then throughout the rest of the day, I would just never let my stomach get empty. And that definitely helped. And like I said, I was just eating really like simple foods at first. And then once I got an appetite, I was just eating basically whatever I wanted. I didn't force myself to eat anything. Ginger ale also helped. I know you can drink ginger tea, eat ginger candy. I drink ginger ale a bit. I do have a really bad problem with UTIs that's sparked by carbonated drinks, so I couldn't drink a lot of it, but it did help when I did drink it. My morning sickness was so bad and I wasn't really gaining weight like I should have been, so my doctor did prescribe me medicine to help with the nausea, but I'm someone that never really takes medicine, so I'm super sensitive to it, and it made me so drowsy. Even taking a half of a dose just knocked me out instantly, so I think I've only taken it twice. But if you're someone that can handle medicine and that's a route you'd like to consider taking, you should ask your doctor about that. So next up, I'd like to talk about my hair and skin throughout the first trimester. So I definitely have very acne prone skin. I almost always have at least one breakout on my face, and I get them like in my jaw and kind of like right under my jaw. And the entire first trimester my skin was trash. Truly, it was so bad. I was getting breakouts all over my face. They were really deep and cystic. I always had probably 4 or 5 at once. My skin was dry, and I don't have dry skin. I have oily skin. Yeah, it was crazy. And then my hair also got so dry, and I went back to a normal color and just kind of left it alone. I didn't use heat on my hair for 7 weeks, I think, which is a pretty considerable amount of time. And my hair was just so dry and brittle. I was constantly having to do deep conditioning mask and put oil on it and stuff. That did change once I hit about 16 weeks. Corey even complimented me on how shiny my hair looked. And my face did clear up. I do have one breakout now on my chin, but that's about it. Another thing, during my first trimester, I got 2 really bad UTIs. Now, like I said earlier, I am very prone to UTIs. I've had them my entire life. Literally, my first memory of life is going to the doctor and having to pee in a cup to be tested for a UTI. I had an ultrasound done when I was little to see if there were any like actual anatomical kind of abnormalities that cause UTIs, and I didn't find anything, so it's just something I've kind of had to live with. And I know like what sparks them and also how to cure them without medicine, because if I were to take antibiotics every single time I had one, I would have absolutely no good bacteria living in my body whatsoever. But yeah, my first trimester I got 2 really bad ones that weren't sparked by anything. So for example, if I drink a lot of caffeine or carbonated drinks or alcohol, then I'll get one. I know for a fact I'll get one. It's like clockwork. And I wasn't drinking any of those things. Obviously wasn't drinking alcohol, and I stopped drinking caffeine once I found out I was pregnant. Or I stopped drinking it daily anyway. Wasn't having any carbonation, and I got just a horrible UTI. I was doing research to kind of see why. And it is common to get UTIs when you're pregnant. Apparently your uterus growing puts stress on your bladder or something like that. But it's also concerning because a UTI, if it starts as a bladder infection, can progress into a kidney infection if you don't take care of it, and kidney infections are really dangerous in pregnancy. It can cause preterm labor and cause your baby's birth weight to be low. So I did end up going to the doctor for the first UTI to get antibiotics because I was scared. And that first one was so bad, I was nauseous. I remember Super Bowl Sunday, we started out the day with me throwing up. And it was from the UTI. I had a fever, I had chills, it was bad. So I did take antibiotics for that one. And then the second one I got, again, wasn't sparked by anything, but that time I decided to at least wait a little bit on the antibiotics, and I really just flushed my system with a lot of water. You can look up a lot of kind of home remedies for UTIs, and I did a lot of them, and it helped. It cleared up, I'd say, within about 3 or 4 days. So something that everyone knows about with pregnancy is the cravings. And at first, I think because I was so nauseous all the time, I didn't really have any. But then once it kind of eased up a little bit, I definitely did start not really craving weird things, but things I just never really ate before. Pickles. Pickles sound good 24/7. Not sweet pickles, like dill pickles. And I mean, I've always liked pickles, but I don't think I've ever in my life just like bought a jar of pickles or something, but I just really want pickles. I also really want cold drinks. I've never been someone to put ice in my drink. You can ask my family, they almost all find it so weird, but I just like room temperature water or juice or whatever I'm drinking. I just never liked ice, but now I want ice. I've been eating a lot of popsicles. And I've heard that that could be because I've become anemic since I've been pregnant, but I've obviously had blood work done and the doctor hasn't said anything, so I guess I'm not. Also, just in general, along with the pickles, I'm just craving more salty things than sweet, and I've always been a sweet person. I'm pretty much eating candy all day, every day. Okay, that's an exaggeration, but only slightly. But now things like cake and cupcakes and cookies, they honestly disgust me. Chocolate chip cookies sound horrible. Like, as of right now, that is the most disgusting food I could possibly imagine is chocolate chip cookies. And then I've also kind of created an aversion to foods that I've always really loved. Like French fries are one of my absolute favorite foods, and now I like can't even eat them. Like, they just do not sound good. So yeah, that's about it for my cravings. So right after the sore chest and fatigue came my heightened sense of smell. So women generally have a pretty heightened sense of smell. I think our sense of smell is like 7 times that of men's. And I feel like even before I was pregnant, I had an even more heightened sense of smell. I've always been really sensitive to smells, but since I've been pregnant. And you never realize how much smells affect you until you can smell everything. I remember walking into Walmart at about probably week 6 or 7, and just being able to like walk through the parking lot and smell the rubber on the tires. Walking down the aisles and being able to smell like the cardboard on the cereal boxes. Like walking down the produce aisle and being able to smell the one bad head of cabbage. I don't know, it's crazy. So the last symptom that Corey is insisting that I mention is that the beginning of my first trimester, I was definitely experiencing mood swings, and they were pretty extreme. and this was really early. I would say it stopped by about week 7. I would go from like being in tears, crying over something, to instantly just not crying anymore and laughing and being happy. It was insane. I remember doing that, like crying and then being happy within a matter of seconds, and then kind of realizing it. And I was talking to Corey, and the look on his face was like, what the hell just happened? And then I started crying again, and I remember telling him I felt crazy, like I did not feel like myself. And I remember thinking, I sincerely hope this does not last for the next 9 months because I will go insane. Luckily it went away, and hopefully it does not come back. So the only other thing I know to think of physically is, I guess, kind of weight gain. I didn't start showing any at all during the first trimester. I didn't really start showing at all until week 17, and I went from nothing to an actual noticeable bump. I'll insert a picture here that I took last week, and that is with my stomach completely relaxed, and I'm wearing a tight shirt, and the point of the photo was to show the bump, you know. Now with 99% of the clothes I wear, you can't tell that I have one at all, but I know it's there. But yeah, during the first trimester, didn't really start showing at all. I know some women show early, some show late. Like I said at the beginning of the video, every woman's body is different. I didn't even start really gaining weight until week about 15. That could have definitely been how awful I felt because of the morning sickness. And I'm pretty sure the like 1 pound that I did gain during the first trimester was in my boobs. So the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is kind of the resources I've been referring to. So first of all, there is this chart that I found on Pinterest that kind of gives a breakdown week by week. It talks about like all the different symptoms and side effects that you, I don't want to say should be experiencing that week, but that are common for that week. And then it also tells the baby's size and kind of the significant development for that week. And let me tell you, that thing has been spot on, I would say about 90% of the time. If something weird is happening, I'll go look at the chart and chances are it's going to be on there, and it's supposed to be happening that week. So I'll leave a link to that in the description box. Next up, I have these 3 books. So as soon as we found out I was pregnant, Corey ordered these. So the first, which is my book, is the Mayo Clinic Guide to a Healthy Pregnancy, and it says from doctors who are parents too. This is definitely very informational. I would say it is from a more kind of medical perspective, but like it says, they're also parents, so it's still relatable and it's definitely really easy to read, and I do really like this so far. Next up is the Expectant Father, the ultimate guide for dads-to-be, which this just absolutely melted my heart when he ordered this for himself. I haven't read it, to be honest, but he really likes it. And then lastly, we have What to Eat When You're Pregnant. So admittedly, we haven't read this. We have a pretty general knowledge of things that you should and shouldn't be eating when you're pregnant. And before I eat something kind of out of the ordinary, or not necessarily out of the ordinary, but just something I'm unsure about, I do check it. But like I said earlier, I, for the most part during the first trimester, didn't really worry too much about my diet or exercise, and that's something that kind of messed with my head a little bit. Like I said, going into it, we did really plan for having a really health conscious pregnancy, but I just felt awful 24 hours a day for weeks, so that kind of got sidelined, and that's okay. I kind of want to share that with you guys because if you are going through that, you can, I don't know, for me, I felt kind of guilty because obviously the healthier my body is, the better it is for the baby. I felt kind of guilty that I wasn't doing everything I could to give her the most hospitable environment, but just do what you can. And now that I am feeling better, this week actually we are going to make it a point to start kind of get back into a physical routine and to get back onto our more health conscious diet. So I'll be starting this soon. And also he bought all of those off of Amazon, so I'll have them linked below. So I also wanted to mention the prenatal vitamins I've been taking, and these are by the brand Nature Made, and they're the Prenatal Vitamin plus DHA. So finding a prenatal with DHA was really important to Corey. He did a lot of research as soon as we found out I was pregnant and found out that DHA is good for fetal brain and eye development. So he got me these because they do have the DHA. And then they also have all the other necessary nutrients that you're supposed to have when you're pregnant, like iron and calcium and folate and all of that. So yeah, I've been taking these. You only have to take 1 a day. They are pretty big. I mean, I don't have any problems at all swallowing pills, so they don't bother me, but this may be large to other people. They are gel capsules, which I like. I just take 1 at night before bed, and they have not made me nauseous. I get really nauseous with a lot of other multivitamins and kind of daily vitamins. These haven't made me nauseous at all, which is good. And there are 90 in here, and like I said, you only take 1 a day, so lasts about 3 months. And I believe he got these off Amazon as well. So the last thing I want to share with you guys are our baby girl's first 2 outfits. Well, I don't think they're her first 2 outfits. I'm pretty sure my grandma has been buying for her since she found out I was pregnant, but these are the first 2 that we have in our possession. So Corey's stepmom got these for us. The first is this little 3-piece set. So it has the onesie, it's white with black arrows and hearts, and then it has this copper heart that says love. And then it has the little bottoms. The bottoms have feet on them, and then it has a little headband. So this is from the brand Chickpea, and it's for 0 to 3 months. So I'm not sure where she got this, but I'll leave a link to it down below because it does have the website on the tag. Next is this other little set. It has the little 1-piece heart and glitter roses, and it says love. And then my absolute favorite thing are these little pants. And they have the tie-in little pockets. Pockets on baby pants are officially my favorite thing in the world. They're so cute. Like, what are they gonna put in there? What are they gonna put in there? I don't know, but it's adorable. We haven't really been buying much yet because we are about to move. I just didn't want to buy stuff here knowing we're going to have to turn around and move it. So like I said, these are the first 2 little outfits that we have in our possession, and I am so obsessed with them. We've had them hanging up on one of our clothes racks, and I just keep looking at it. How cute are these?
The cutest things in the world!
They're so tiny.
That's what our daughter's gonna wear.
We just keep like picking them up like this.
I love seeing all the stuff out like that.
We just keep picking them up like this and imagining.
And holding it crazy.
Little baby. We really do. So yeah, I don't know where she got them, but I'll link both of them below if I can find them. So I think that's it. If I can think of anything else significant that I've forgotten about, I'll leave it in the description box. If you have any questions for me or for us about, well, I guess anything, but specifically pregnancy related, be sure to leave it in the comments. Like I said, we did just film our kind of pregnancy video, and I'll have it linked in the description, but it should just be the last video we've uploaded. If you didn't know, I do have my own beauty channel, and Corey does have his own gaming channel, so if you're interested in those, I'll have them linked below. But for all things outside of those 2 genres, for everything kind of concerning us in our life, we are going to be uploading on this channel, so all things baby and pregnancy related will be on this channel. So if you are interested in that and want to keep up with that, be sure you subscribe. Thank you so much for being here and for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!